for Phillies as we welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance. Ricky Bottalico, I'm Michael Barkann, Ruben Amaro Jr. in moments. What I liked about this one, Ricky Bo, they score 5 in the second, and then the Marlins come back in the fourth, the fifth. They put up 4, and we got nervous. Aaron Nola gives up 5 straight hits, but the Phillies come back the next half inning and put up 3 more and distance themselves.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing you want to see is people picking each other up. You look at this ballgame, I mean, the Phillies get off to a beautiful lead. Everything kind of went well early on in this game. You get up 5-0. I mean, you would think Aaron Nola would be in cruise control at that point. He hits that 5th inning, and it was like he hit a brick wall again in that inning. Mm-hmm. Next thing you know, it's 5-4, and you're starting to think to yourself, all right, what's going to happen here? Jeff Hoffman came in and did a nice little job. Let's start there with the bullpen, because the bullpen did a spectacular job in this game, and hopefully that's a springboard to them going back in the right direction and climbing up the stairs again instead of falling down the stairs. And then you look at what that Phillies team did in the 5th. I thought that was huge. That was a huge hit by Brandon Marsh. You just heard from, and looking fastball, looking to hit the ball up the middle, he gets a hanger. I mean, you know how nice that must have looked? It must have looked like a beach ball coming in. Put a good swing on it, hit it in the corner. Everybody's hustling around the bases. All of a sudden, you know what? A little punch back. That's what you had to do. It's always nice because this is a momentum swinger, too. If the Marlins would have come back and won that game, it would have been a problem. Yeah. And tomorrow may have been a problem, getting up to play that game tomorrow for the Phillies. But now you're in a different situation. Now you're in a situation where you punch back, and the Marlins know what's going on right now.
Across the street we go for the crossover. Ruben Amaro Jr. called tonight's game with Scott Fransky in this evening for Tom McCarthy. Ruben, let's start with Nick Castellanos. Rob Thomson moves him all the way down to 8th. He has not batted 8th this season in the starting lineup. Mostly has batted 4th, 3rd, 2nd, even 5th, but not 8th. But it worked, right? It seemed to work as he's 2 for 3 with 2 RBI.
Yeah, I mean, a nice job by Castellanos when he got an opportunity to drive some runs in. He got a pitch on the inside part of the plate and drove it down the left field line. I mean, Rob Thompson's sort of, he's done this before. It's not like the first time. He did it with Turner because Turner had been struggling a long time. He pushed him back into the lineup. And as Alec Boehm talked about it before, he kind of earned it. You know, Castellanos kind of earned his spot in the 8th slot. Maybe it takes a little heat off of him. Maybe he relaxes a little bit. Maybe he thinks about his at-bats maybe a little bit differently. And
you think it could be any type of mental? Because when he, in that inning, he had Jesus Sanchez, struck him out. Then he gives up the home run, and everything kind of crumbled from there.
I think sometimes when he gets into the stretch, I think he struggles a little bit with sometimes staying over the rubber and staying behind it and staying over, keeping his fingers above the ball and working the ball down. That's what I see. But I'm sure that there's maybe some other things. I haven't analyzed it that much, but it just seems like he's not able to drive the ball down in the zone consistently when he's in the stretch as opposed to when he's in the windup. And I'm not sure if that's a mechanical thing, again, or more of a fatigue thing.
Ruben, to me, this may have marked somewhat of a departure for Rob Thomson, who gives his veterans the courtesy of sticking with them. And he barely got into the 5th inning, and he threw 84 pitches, and then he was gone after you give up that many hits in a row and you allow 4 earned runs. And I thought this was Rob Thomson saying, look, we got to win games, and I got to get somebody in here because you're giving up runs. Did you think that Rob Thomson pulled him earlier than he might otherwise have?
I think he did, and I think you're absolutely right. That was a great analysis, I think, Michael. I at this stage of the game, man, it's about winning baseball games. And up until this point, Aaron Nola hasn't been as consistent as he has been in the past. And when he saw things sort of unraveling on him, he said, hey, I got to get somebody in there who I can feel is going to have a better chance of getting outs. That's what he did. Jeff Hoffman stepped up and did the job, and then the rest of the bullpen, as we talked about, did a heck of a job as well. So you don't like to have your bullpen, eat up that many innings. But again, this is a pennant race, man. It's time to win baseball games, and if he feels like you're not going to be effective, then he's going to have to make a change. And I think that's what you saw in Castellanos hitting 8th. I think that's what you saw in the move that he made tonight pulling Aaron Nola at that point, and hey, it's time to play baseball and to win baseball games.
Yeah, in horse racing, they say go 3 wide to the whip, and this is the thing. We're heading down a stretch. You know what I mean?
We sure are.
And it's not always fun. You got to make some moves you don't want to make, but it worked out for the Phillies tonight. Ruben, thanks so much. Always appreciate it. We'll check you tomorrow, my friend. Appreciate it. Ruben Amaro Jr. joining us from the booth. Here are the National League standings presented by our friends at the Sioka dealerships. Let's take a look. Ricky Bo, they distance themselves just a little bit more.
Well, that
from
3
the
is
Chicago
actually
Cubs
4, remember.
because of the tiebreak.
That's right.
Yep, but the Cubs lose it today. Phillies win it tonight. And all of a sudden, 3,
I mean,
actually 4.
basically the Cubs are starting to feel the heat a little bit when you really think about it, because look at where the Diamondbacks are now. They're playing each other. They play each other again tomorrow. So it should be interesting, because that could be a flip-flop for the Cubs right now, who were on fire for a month and a half. Maybe they're starting to cool down a little bit.
Yeah, I thought the Phillies might be on pace for 92, 93, 94 wins, but they go 4 straight and then they lose a couple. And it's been a struggle in that regard. They
I will tell you this much: you crush
90.
yourself on that.
Well, you know what?
Every day they're pace for 91.
You just want to know that they're going to be solid, and they played that way certainly.
I don't
June.
think there's any reason to be nervous about this team right now.
Including the top wild card spot?
Yeah, including the top wild card spot. I mean, games are dwindling down. That's a good thing. That is on the Phillies side. Time is now on the Phillies side. It's not on the Cubs side. It's not on the Diamondback side. Phillies are looking strong right now. Yeah, I know. You have the Braves coming in, but you can't overlook tomorrow. You have to play tomorrow's game like it's Game 5 of the World Series. Mm-hmm. Not Game 7, Game 5.
Game 5.
Because you're not quite there.
You're not quite there yet, but they're looking good. They've won 4 out of their last 6 games. Have the fighting Phils. Here's their skipper, Rob Thomson, postgame.
Made a point to see some more pitches tonight. His at-bats.
I thought his at-bats were good. Big hit. His first at-bat to give us the lead. And, he saw some more pitches and drew a walk and another base hit, I believe. But I thought his at-bats were good.
Nola cruised through those first 4
Yeah.
innings, and then what do you think happened in the 5th?
Strange. I'd have to go back and look at it. I don't know whether he lost his command or what, but it was very strange because he was really good the first 3 innings. I thought, the fastball to his glove side, so the front hip on the left-handers and the back door on the right was really good. Threw some really good change-ups. Just get me over breaking ball was good. And then all of a sudden, he lost it. So I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at it.
It seemed even when a runner got on second base, like in the earlier innings, he was able to not let it escalate to
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
So you don't have any theories as to why that might have spiraled?
Yeah, I don't really. It looked like the Hampson home run was down and in, and that's where JT was set up. The double to Edwards was up. That was mislocation, it looked like. The double by Bell was backdoor breaking ball that I think he just got to. So, I don't know. I really don't.
As we get into some of these bigger games, how do you assess Nola in terms of these big innings seem to continue to pile up on him? What's your level of concern there?
Yeah, we'll see. I still have a lot of faith in Aaron. I really do. I trust him, and I think the bigger the game, usually the more he steps up, and so I have to live with that, and I believe that's still true.
Before the game, when you were talking about the lineup, you made that comment about Marsh. Is he really a 7-hole hitter? He's another big hit tonight. He's kind of leveled up offensively this season. what's been some of the most impressive aspects of it?
I think just his swing decisions. So he's commanding the plate a little bit better. He's still using the field. He's still pulling the ball. But I think just being able to control his at-bat day in, day out, he's been great. And he's not chasing for the most part. He's just grinding out at-bats.
How important is it for you guys straightened out and get Castellanos straightened out?
I think it's huge, and I think we will. I think those guys is, Nick's going through a tough time. Great night tonight, but he'll come out of it because he's a really good hitter. And same thing with Aaron. He's a really good pitcher. There's a lot of really good numbers on the back of his baseball card. So I trust that we'll straighten this thing out.
The stop fine, just
I hope so. They're checking on him right now, but he was having a little trouble breathing when he was standing at first base. But you get hit in the ribs. It's kind of normal, but he scored from first on the double. So they're checking him out now. We'll find out later.
From your perspective, how do you think Nola is dealing with this up and down season mentally?
I think he's a little frustrated, because he's kind of perfectionist, and he's a really hyper competitive guy. So he wants to get it done, and he wants to get it done not only for himself but for the team. So I think there's a lot of frustration there.
How big of a help has Jeff Hoffman been this season?
He's been huge.
It seems like you've thrown him in some really tough situations.
Yeah.
Runners on base.
Yeah, and so I've been asked in the past, will you put him into more higher leverage situation? Well, that's a pretty high leverage situation. We got a 5-run lead, and all of a sudden it's a 2-run lead with runners at second, third, and 1 out, and he gets out of it, and then he goes out and pitches the next inning and gets out of it. So that's a pretty high leverage situation for me. It might not be in the 7th, 8th, or 9th, but it's big inning, and we got the momentum back because then we scored. We answered in the bottom and got the momentum back, and we kept it there. Our bullpen did a great job tonight. Soto was great. Alvarado was great. Obviously Hoffman and Kimbrel was really good too. So those guys stepped up.
How happy are you with the way Hoffman's velocity and command has held up this year?
It's been great, and the development of the splitter has really helped him against left-handed hitters. So I really don't have a concern putting him out there against anybody at this point. He's got a lot of confidence. He's pounding the strike zone. He's using his pitches. He's really pitching well.
Yeah,
Does he make a run at 50?
I think he might. Inside the box score, Ricky Bo. Look at
That
these
is
hits.
inside of it.
Schwarber with a home run. Trey Turner, run scored, 2 walks. Bryce Harper, 1 for 4. By the way, did Turner have a hit tonight?
No.
No. So streak over. Bryce,
What was that, 16? 17? 16 games.
16 games.
Plus a 20-game home hitting streak.
Yep, but then he still, 2 walks. He still gets on base. He scores a run.
You got to love what happened here. I mean, you look at the lineup. Rob Thomson elongated the lineup, and your 7-8 hitters go 4 for 7 with 5 RBIs.
Yeah, exactly. 6, 7, 8 looking pretty good.
Yeah, you can't complain right now.
No, you can't. But the middle of the lineup was okay.
No, middle of the lineup
Schwarber had
really
a
didn't
hit.
have to get anything done, which is the nice part about it. That's why I said it's all about sharing on this team. Sharing is caring on this team. Let everybody else have, it doesn't always have to be Bryce Harper. It doesn't have to be Trey Turner every night. This proves it. This proves you have Marsh. You moved Castellanos down to 8. He could have been a big baby and ran away. He didn't do that. Stood up to the task, had a really nice game, and Schwarber does what that's all he does.
All right, speaking of Schwarber, take a look at the home run leaders in the National League or in baseball. Matt Olson with 48, Shohei Ohtani with 44, Pete Alonso with 43, and Kyle Schwarber with 42. So when you look at that, he's 6 behind Olson, and Olson continues to swat him out. Ohtani
when I
at
look
44.
at that, what do you think I think? Beat that number 3 guy.
Yeah.
Just beat him.
Well, he's 1 behind him. I think he'll be able to do it. Also, you would think he's spurred on by the fact that the Mets are coming in not too long from now. The Braves are coming in next week.
No, you got to wonder what happens at the end of the season. If they clinch, is he going to play those games? Who knows? I think that's what makes a good team even better. When your pitcher's struggling out there, he almost gives up the full lead. Instead, he gives up 4 runs in the inning. You're still up a run. Well, the Phillies have been really good at this, especially as of late. Within the last month or so, they've been really good at getting back up there and putting some numbers back up on the board. They put a 3 spot right back up there. and it held up.
Aaron Nola entered tonight's game with a 3.17 home ERA. He exits with a 3.44 home ERA. Here's Nola postgame.
Hampson got me like a pretty good pitch on a homer, and then I feel like it just kind of unraveled. Just feel like it's gone that way all year. You know, it's kind of one big inning. You know, does it in for me for the start. So I felt good overall. My stuff felt pretty good. They scratched 5 hits in a row, I think, right there. A lot of doubles.
How confident are you can get this straightened out? A few weeks ago for the regular season, so you're hitting your stride at the right time in the postseason.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, I'm gonna keep working and having good weeks and staying healthy, and try to turn that corner and limit the big inning.
Rob was saying there, just now he wasn't sure why it kind of happened to you. Does it feel mental to you at all, or is it all just the way just the way it happens? I mean, you let one get into another to get into another.
No, it's not mental. I mean, you saw it. Felt fine all day until the 5th. Just kind of unraveled, man, and I feel like that's how it's been all year. I mean, it's definitely not mental for me, and my pitches felt good tonight, but just the way it went.
Has it been difficult at all this year to pitch through kind of uncertainty about your future?
I haven't really thought about it, honestly. I've just been kind of worried about this year and focused on trying to give the team a chance to win and turning that corner in my starts and get into the postseason.
Did you feel like you were on a good pace through those first 4 innings? Like, it seemed like even when a runner got to second, like, you were able to kind of nip it in the bud and not let it escalate. Did you feel kind of like you were in rhythm?
Yeah, it felt good. These early outs, pretty easy outs. A double play right there, home returned, and side return right there. So felt pretty quick, honestly, but the 5th got to me.
Does that make a night like this particularly frustrating, given how those first 4 innings went?
Yeah, I mean, it's always frustrating when a big inning happens like that, no matter how the game goes. But it was a good win. Guys came out swinging the bats really well.
You've had seasons where you haven't had that problem of innings unraveling. This season, as you mentioned, I think it's happened sometimes. Like, when that's happening, is it an element of like, here we go again, or are you able to block that out?
I block it out. I'm just trying to make a next pitch and trying to stop the damage. And it's just really haven't been great at it this year. It's just kind of how it's gone. But I mean, I'm definitely not thinking, here we go again. I'm just trying to get out that inning and make a pitch.